Just wanted to start this one by saying this is my first time seeing the TWISTEX Memorial, almost 10 years since the passing of the team. Tim Samaras was a major inspiration for my interest in tornadoes and storm chasing, and it's great to see the memorial still so highly regarded in the community. So on this day, I didn't really get that much as far as radar screenshots, but this was the beginning of what got us really excited that day. Got to meet some fellow storm chasers. I'll throw in their social media and the sides of this video. Some funny little pre-chase antics, and away we go. Hell, I chased for a while that day with one of the fellow chasers that I met, but a lot of it I cut out, or unfortunately didn't get to keep because, the iPad that I've been using to record just gave up and wasn't able to store anymore. But here you can hear the tornado sirens starting to go off as we make our way towards the town of Dibble. You can see the time lapse that I set. That convection is really building that storm up. It's got amazing structure. This was my first time really getting to see the structure of a supercell without just a whole bunch of precipitation blocking it out. As we make our way there, eventually get onto some dirt roads and make a pretty good distance where we can still see it, but enough space to make decisions as to where we'd want to go next. Now this time lapse, after stopping, you can really see the inflow start to build stronger and stronger. Looking back on video, it's quite impressive to me. And again, this was my first time really getting to see it up close and without the obstruction of a whole bunch of rain and hail. From this distance, able to see some pretty good rotational velocity of the
what it looks like
in the cloud base.
It doesn't have anything planted. That's pretty quick for nothing planted.
It was hard to see because of the trees, but the wall cloud was descending, or had really already descended by this point.
Close to cold before the tornado drop was about that good.
What do you think is
the rotation of that mesocyclone? It's a little bit more visible on time lapse, but in person it was very apparent. Now, unfortunately, because of time constraints and because of a little bit of hesitation to chase at night, still so early in my chasing, I had to decide that if it didn't drop at this point within the next half hour or so, that I had to head back home. And eventually I did, but before doing that, I got some video after my iPad decided to stop working. That shot really builds anticipation. And right there, you can see the wall cloud in the middle. That's the money shot for this chase. Tiny little bit of descending of what would later be a brief tornado touchdown at 8:04 Central, near the town of Dibble. As you can see here at the crossroad in the middle, that's my position at 8:04. At that point, I had pretty much decided to go ahead and hit my escape route out. Over here in the bottom left, the southwest corner, is the position of the tornado that touched down for a very brief time at 8:04. And then over here is where the touchdown would take place near the town of Cole, a little bit past 8:40. But unfortunately by that point, I had decided to call it a day. Anyways, here's the continuation. One regret is I wish that I had just gotten more video of when it looked like this. Very clear, great structure when I was closer. Before this moment, I find myself here. That was about 4 minutes later, looking south. Great structure again, modest clouds. And by this point, it's about a half hour before the drop that would happen later on. Looking east towards the sound that would produce the tornado in Cole. And really the rest of the footage that I got was just more of that kind. This one is especially interesting, just knowing that this coincides with the time that the tornado would land and eventually track for some time in Cole onto Noble. Along with the descended wall cloud, this is probably my favorite shot from that day of chasing. Seeing it in person, though, that was a whole new experience to me.